I noticed that some individuals are really stuck on this idea that if I change jobs, if I change relationships, then it'll be better. But really, this is about you working on you. And when you work on yourself, your relationships change. We can't work on our relationships and expect them to change without first working on ourselves. And so it's important that you consider how you behave and how those around you behave in your relationships. But the way you run your personal life and the way you run your professional life are really pretty similar when it comes down to looking at how we behave in relationships and the different types of behaviors. When you're talking about behaviors, personal or professional, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. And when you want to improve in your relationships, repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating these exercises, this lesson, every lesson in the book over and over until you gain momentum, where it becomes second nature. That's really where your success is going to come in, is beyond the experience of repetition. There's got to be initially extreme levels of repetition. Look at the 3 different types of behavior and identify yourself and those that you're in relationship with. Identify your main behavior type or the main behavior types that those around you are demonstrating, and look at the characteristics. Identify those and then understand the major consequences. Since we're working on the 3 different types that are opposite to assertive characteristics, there's 3 different types of behavior. The first one is aggressive behavior. The second is manipulative behavior. And the third is passive behavior. So let's define aggressive behavior. So aggressive behavior is defined as needs and wants being taken care of in a forceful and self-serving way. Now, let's admit, who hasn't had a moment where they're behaving aggressively? I think we can all say we've experienced this, or we can all say we have our jerky moments. Yet, what we're looking at is not when you are experiencing aggressive behavior occasionally, once in a while. This is something that you want to identify if you are in the habit, or if someone that you're in relationship with is in the habit of using aggressive behavior. The next one I want you to look at is manipulative behavior. Now, very similar to the one above, our aggressive behavior. Our manipulative behavior is described or defined as one's needs and wants are being taken care of in an indirect, cunning, deceptive, and maybe even a crafty way with ulterior motives in mind. So maybe you could think of someone, maybe it could be yourself or someone else, that wanted to accomplish something, had a specific agenda in mind and accomplished that agenda. But afterwards, you felt manipulated or taken advantage of or lied to or something of that nature. And then we look at the last one here, which is your passive behavior characteristic. So if we look at the definition of this one, this is when someone behaves in a way of getting their needs and wants taken care of or met by suppressing them or maneuvering others, like to take care of them, playing as if they can't take care of themselves, being or behaving in a way that's avoiding themselves or their needs in order to get their needs met. So it's a little tricky, but you could think of maybe a martyr, someone who loves to play martyr. And passive people use manipulative behaviors in getting others to take care of them. So if they feel bad, let's say, if they choose to feel bad, they're choosing to feel bad because it will make them feel good in the end. Because when they feel bad, other people pay attention to them. When they feel bad, other people ask them what's wrong. When they feel bad, other people will give them the attention that they want. So that is passive behavior, the definition of that. Now let's go back to aggressive behavior. And remember, this is when someone is getting their needs and wants taken care of in a forceful and self-serving way. So some of the characteristics of this type of individual would be they're insensitive. They have a strong need to control and dominate other people. They really fear rejection, and they're quite impatient, maybe even temperamental. But they use intimidation and power and their status to get what they want. You can maybe call them or consider them, maybe they've been titled pushy, competitive, dogmatic, or even demanding. But the objective here is that they're extremely self-serving. So this behavior characteristic is negative, and the major consequences are that they will most likely get their way, and their desires and goals tend to be met, but they seem to be alienated by others. People don't really trust them, and there seems to be an underlying sense of tension around them. And it undermines the ability to really establish lasting, healthy relationships because they're dominating their way to getting what it is that they want. Now, let's look at manipulative behavior, which we might consider passive aggressive. Some people consider that, also title that passive aggressive. Now, these people are people that you consider maybe they like to play mind games. They like to pout or get attention by demonstrating their hurt feelings, or they'll give you the cold shoulder, or maybe they'll drop some hints as to what's bothering them. Maybe they will flirt instead of be direct when their feelings are hurt, so they want the other person to feel hurt as well. But they're giving or withholding attention, and really what they're doing is they're being indirect in their methods to manipulate other people. So some of you might know some passive aggressive people, or maybe it's part of your communication style when your feelings are hurt. This is a way of communicating indirectly by holding your feelings inside and then not being open about your true, authentic, or genuine feelings. And some people consider this to be rebellious. So maybe they're defensive and angry when they get caught manipulating, so they try to turn the situation around and create a passive aggressive experience. But they have a strong need for approval and attention. And so this is where their passive aggressivity comes from, is this experience of feeling insecure, but they want to act as if they're actually secure. And they really don't trust others. And you can sense it. You can sense when someone is being passive aggressive and they really just can't get themselves to be authentic or genuine with you. So if you look at the consequences of this, these individuals, when they're behaving in passive aggressive manners, they may be successful in manipulating or maneuvering others in indirect ways to get their needs met, but their credibility and trust levels are very low, and their causes affect others to lose touch with them. They tend to avoid them because other people are not feeling secure or as though they can be real or genuine with them. Our last one here is passive behavior. And this is really one of the most difficult ones to address. Instead of asking for their needs to be met, they do this type of passive behavior. They'll perform this type of passive behavior in their relationships. And again, they play martyr because they want others to feel sorry for them. And that's how they go about getting the attention that they need, as opposed to asking for it. They tend to be followers, and they try to do what they think others want of them. So instead of them saying, you know what, it doesn't make me feel good to do this, I don't know, I'm not interested in doing that, they will go along with others' requests, and then they become resentful. And their lack of self-confidence brings to the experience this feeling of tension. Because you can feel that they're not happy, yet they won't say anything. You can tell that they're manipulating the situation and they won't own it. So it's very frustrating to be in a relationship with someone who's extremely passive or demonstrates more often than not passive behavior. But some of the signs are they're indecisive, they're moody, and they like to use what we call keeping score. So I'll do this if you do that, and you do this and I'll do that. And so someone who's constantly keeping score in the relationship. Well, you owe me and I owe you. You want to stay away from that. That's passive behavior, and it's going to set you up for failure in the long run, because those people are uncertain about who they are. They have a tendency to not understand or know when and where and how to be genuine or authentic, not with just others, but with themselves. It's something that's inside. And so this results in sometimes they get their needs met, most of the time they don't, because they're angry. So they lose their identity and their ability to take care of themselves, and they're seen as maybe weak. So we've just described, or I've just described, these 3 different behavior types for you. If and when you find yourself experiencing this with someone, or you find yourself behaving that way, what you want to do is take on the responsibility of your assertive communication and assertive styles. Thank you for making time to take care of yourself, improve your communication skills, and keep up the good work.